WIBTA if I took $13K from my parents at the expense of my siblings? I am not op. Original post by you, throwaway 3,728,918,373 in R, am I the asshole? Mood spoilers. Despairing. Less than. And NBSP. WIBTA if I took $13K from my parents at the expense of my siblings? August 28, 2022. I am F19 and my siblings are F19. Twin. And M20. This starts in 2020 with COVID. My government was issuing about $1,500 a week, fortnight. Don't know exact. To people who couldn't work. I was one and ended up receiving $13K in payments. It was all put away into a bank account only my parents had access to. My life savings account. They had also put small sums of money for birthdays from my GPs etc. But nowhere near $13K. My parents hit some hard financial times and took most of that $13K and used it to buy a car, saying they would pay me back. They told me I would have access to that bank account for my 21st. Now, I've been looking at buying a car. I assumed I had a large amount of money saved in my life savings, and I have also been putting about $650 a week for the past 4 months. I decided I would buy a new mid-range car. I decided on a car last week. It is my absolute dream car and I was meant to put the deposit down today. My parents had been involved and supportive throughout the whole months-long process. My mom sat me down today and pretty much gave me options. They can pay me back the $13K, but it will mean that my siblings will not be able to have anywhere near that amount, and it wasn't fair on them. She said she will not be giving me money for my 21st birthday if I take the $13K and instead taking my birthday money and using it to top up my siblings' accounts. She explained that she does not have the money to pay back my $13K and also give my siblings and myself birthday money. My siblings will still be getting access to their own government payouts, it just isn't as much as mine. My mother told me I can either take the $13K and I do not get a 21st birthday gift and it will be used for my siblings, or not take the $13K and probably have it split between us. I don't understand why I should be punished for getting more compensation while I was still out of work. My siblings were back working and put that money into their main accounts. Yes, it wasn't near as much as the payments, but that money is still mine as it was compensation for no work. Both of my siblings already have cars and my brother has moved out. I've waited and saved for so long for the perfect car. I don't understand why I will have to sit there on my twin and I's birthday and pretend to be happy when I receive nothing and my sister gets basically a birthday gift of half my money. My mom has brought up the fact that she should have been charging me rent and that I am ungrateful, and mentioning birthday gifts she has given me. I said I wanted to have the $13K and she told me that I was being spiteful, would never be happy, and to be honest with her, I said I don't think it's fair to top up my siblings' account with my money to make it fair for them. She called me ungrateful and it was my fault they wouldn't have any money. WIBTA if I take the $13K, or do I split it with my siblings and forfeit my dream car? And NBSP. OOP's comments. And NBSP. I think so? The more I think about it, the more I have no idea why I wouldn't get my 21st birthday money as well as the $13K. I gave them that $13K in the first place, so they sort of have to pay that back anyway. The more I consider the situation, the more it makes me frustrated, as when I look past the guilt of my siblings having less money, it kind of seems like my parents just want me to let them off of having to pay me back, and using my own money from the government as a 21st birthday present to both me and my siblings. And NBSP. Unfortunately, I have actually never had access to that account. It was meant to be an account where my parents would deposit life savings money for me in it. turned into a storage account for large sums of my money that my parents didn't want me spending. When I was under 18, about 90% of the money in there is mine that I deposit directly from my paychecks and inheritance. Money from my grandparents as well as those government payments. Every time I bring up having access, my parents guilt me and say that I don't trust them and that I am not allowed access until I am 21, just in case. I've always suspected I am not given access as they have secretly not been paying back anything they have loaned from it. And NBSP. They have held the government checks my siblings were getting as well. However, since they got less, they are getting all that money back. They also didn't make my siblings pay rent. No. They have also not told my siblings about any of this, although I suspect they might know. Apparently it's my decision, and I am not to tell them that I have more money than them because it's unfair on them. And NBSP. I do not have access to it. I only have the bank details of it, so I can only deposit money into it. I rely on my mom to tell me how much I have, but she has never said the exact number of what is in. They're just things like, oh, you have saved this much from your job, never full amounts. And NBSP. Thank you for this. I'm ready looking into opening another bank account. Basically how they got my government money is when I was 17 they had access to all of my bank accounts and would just immediately take the money out as soon as it came in. So it was coming into my account, but I never saw it because it was taken instantly. Once I turned 18, my bank immediately cut off my parents' access as it is an account under my name. And I never gained them access again, even though my mom begged, because it made it easier to transfer into my account. The life savings account I guess must be a different type of account as I never got that option, so I just don't know. I'm lucky that since it came into my account first I can see the records of it, but also since it was transferred out by an authorized member I don't know how I would contest that. We had no legal agreement and I am only 19. I have no idea how to go about the legal side of things. I feel so disheartened as I'm beginning to realize that I probably have no money left over and I'm emotionally exhausted. And NBSP. They were automatically kicked off when I turned 18 and I did not give them access again when they requested. It's just my life savings account that I have no information about except the BSB and N. I got my first debit card when I was about 10-11, so genuinely no idea how they opened those accounts. If they even could. But I've had a debit card. Not MasterCard though. For almost as long as I can remember, definitely before high school. I am Australian and I am with CommBank for my main banking. Also, my mother has mentioned I am not meant to have been getting those payments. However, I was working there for over 6 months and was 17, so I'm not sure what she was talking about. They also gave me the payments, so I don't know how that would have slipped past them, especially that amount of money. I'm hopefully going to the bank tomorrow to talk to them in person, as I do not trust going over the phone in case they contact my parents. And NBSP. Update August 29, 2022. I called my bank today and there is no registered account under my name. It looks like there was a joint account with my father, however that was closed back in 2017. I suspect it is an account under their name, which means they have full control. I am trying to process all of this, but I just cannot believe it. I still live with my parents and rely on them for small things, and I trusted them with all my heart. If I decide to take the $13,000 back, I risk completely ruining our relationship, and I don't know how to go ahead. At the end of the day, they are my parents and I love them, and I just can't believe I have to make this decision. I wish I could just pretend this never happened. I want to take the money, but I know it will forever be used against me, e.g., well, you have $13,000, you don't need this, and I will always be set apart from my siblings. I have come to the realization that my parents think I am their worst child and nothing I have done. My entire life has changed or will change that. They have made it clear by bringing up years of grievances that I didn't even know about and had no control over. I have no words for how deeply hurt I am, and I know I will be made out as the bad guy to the rest of my family as well. I am on the edge of being completely isolated. Most of my friends live out of my state and I don't have an extended family to rely on. They all live in South Africa. I don't have the money to move out as they still control the account all my money is in, and I find it hard to believe they will just hand it over to me. I feel so alone in this apart from you guys. It feels like no one else understands what is actually going on. Thank you to everyone who has given me advice, but I fear I may have to just give up on the money as I can't live like this. And NBSP, reminder I am not the original poster. Honestly, poor Oop being taken advantage of by their parents like this. No way this story is concluded, though I bet there would be at least one more update in a few months or so. Mood spoiler on point. Poor Oop. No chance of seeing the money again, and realized they aren't loved and were used. She needs to get some legal help and talk to her siblings. 100% all their money is gone. Oop should bring them to court. Their parent committed fraud. Imagine stealing from your own kid and then giving them ultimatums over paying it back. Wretched. Yup. My grandpa set up an account for my college before he died, and when I was 8 or 9 my parents drained the whole thing. They won't even tell me how much was in there. Hate to say, but Oop isn't getting anything back. Much less $13K. That money is gone, and I doubt she would even win if she sued her parents. I know Oop is being stolen from, but I'm kinda wondering if her parents are stealing from the government too with this scheme. If Oop is in Australia, one word to Centrelink and the parents are in a world of pain. I don't think this is concluded. I think there will be further updates. She should tell them she wants the birthday money and not the $13,000. Once the birthday money is in hand, she can tell them she'll take them to court for the $13,000 she loaned them and they didn't pay back. This relationship is ruined anyway. Might as well get the money. Woman shrugging, light skin tone. I would ask for that money back and watch them squirm. Either they have it and they're dangling it over Oop, or they don't have it. Either way, Oop will know what kind of thieves their parents are. You don't hit hard financial times and then go buy a new car. That was a flat-out lie to get that money. And an account without your name on it as a primary co-holder is not your account, and the money is no longer yours when you drop it in. Maybe small claims court since you have documented deposits, but still unlikely. She should really talk to her siblings. Chances are their saving accounts are near empty, or rather just the same account her money was going into in the first place. I can absolutely assure you that Centrelink would love to talk to this young person. I hope they organize an interview. Wow. I hope Oop opens a new bank account immediately and never pays another penny into any account their parents have access to. My parents had to borrow money from my and my siblings' college funds. They bought a house we needed, and the house we moved out of took a while to sell. And they couldn't carry the mortgage payments of 2 houses. That said, they had already gone light at Christmas. They didn't exchange presents. Had halved the amount they usually spent on us. Were watching the bills and doing what they could to keep costs down and income maximized. Which I know because they sat us down and walked us through the financials. As in, here's what we're paying that we can't cover. Here's our accounts, etc. Basically, they could borrow from the college funds or their retirement. And well, You can get student loans. And the tax penalties were better taking from the college funds than the retirement ones. It included a detailed plan on repayment, and they were charging themselves a higher than market rate on the interest, and an agreement that if the college funds didn't cover our college education, they'd co-sign loans, and there was a commitment to helping repay them. And even though it was money they'd set aside, we still had to give our permission for them to use it. They also took an equal share from all the college funds, so that no one child was disproportionately impacted. Then when they sold the house, they showed us the repayment with interest. I say all of that because there is a correct way to ask your kid to loan you money you need, if it comes down to it, and it's absolutely not what OOP's parents did. I'd tell my siblings everything. I'm one to burn bridges and go scorched earth. If they're doing it to her, they're doing it to her sibs as well. $13K seems like a decent amount to move out on. My parents told me when I was very young that if I gave them my birthday money every year, they'd double it and give it to me for university. I did this every year and basically lived with no money, never buying anything I liked because I wanted money for university. I wasn't allowed to work. When I finally got in, at 17, I asked for my money. Their response? What money? Quote, they've taken it all and spent it. My dad was addicted to the pokies. Don't trust your parents. I knew it was an Aussie with a CBA account. I had one as a kid, and I have them for my kids. They're attached to a parent's account in the app these days while you're under 15 or so. The earliest they'll let us get the kids a debit card. Mostly I use them as a way to park money to buy the kids things they need, like clothes and shoes, until they get old enough to use them as pocket money accounts, at which point I cease withdrawing a dime, and will only transfer money in. I'm clear with them that we have the accounts, but that we're also not well off enough to actually save up properly ATM. But they're still little, so with any luck by the time we hit 19, I can actively help them out with things like buying cars. I cannot imagine stealing $13K from one of my kids. Nope. If I was struggling that badly, I might call a family meeting and ask the kids to contribute for a while. But I wouldn't just steal $13K from one and then try to force them to lie to the others. I can't even with that. Oop. Run, sweetheart.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicuricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.